Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to share with you an end of year recap for the 2024-2025 homeschool year. I have just a bunch of stuff laid out on the table that I'll go through. I'm going to try and share with you some things we did as a family in our morning time and some things that I did with my 5th grader and some things that I did with my 2nd grader. If can get through as much as I can, I'll try. I don't want to make this way too long, but we'll see how this goes. I will put timestamps below if you want to jump ahead and check something out specifically. So I'll go ahead and just share some things we did in our morning time. So we went through the first 4 of the answer book for kids. These are just super simple, just question answers. Bringing in some theology to your homeschool in a real simple way. These are everyday questions that kids have about God and the Bible. So it's just a real easy way to slip in something to help them better understand what it is they believe. And we've really enjoyed these. We are going to just do the second half of the books this upcoming year. And I already kind of shared some of those resources in my recent family subject choices for 2025, 2026. So highly recommend these. These have been good and sparks a lot of conversation within the family. Another resource I highly recommend is Creation of Babel. That's another one we finished and did this year, which just digs a little deeper into Genesis. And that sparked a lot of conversations with the kiddos as well. Just understanding the lineage of Jesus and how all things began and Abraham and just getting a better sense of that. So that was really good. Highly recommend that. The kids really enjoyed it and we were kind of sad when it was done, but that was a really good study for us. We finished Taking the Middle East for Jesus. This is a history course from Generations. We did level 1 last year. We did level 2 this year. And we just read one story a week and we talk about it. I have the kids narrate and just highly enjoy this series. You know, we always learn a lot. We're kind of, you know, digging into church history and how the gospel was spread all throughout different parts of the world. So we were focusing on the Middle East, which was a good accompaniment to explore the Holy Land. So this was our geography course. Now, we do these subjects in morning time. So we would read our one story on Mondays. So this is the only time we would pull this out. And then we didn't start this to, well, we did. We started it a little bit and then I put it down because we just had a lot going on. We really wanted to focus on our science. So I put this down and we picked it up after the holidays. So second semester. And we just finished it. So we just finished it, what, yesterday I think it was. So absolutely loved it. We didn't use all like the worksheets. We like to notebook. I'll show you an example of how we notebook in a minute. But just really enjoyed this. We mapped through the Holy Land. So drew the maps, located places on the maps, created keys on the maps. The questions in here are really helpful. They'll have like, so you have your chapters, so you have readings that we would read through, and I would have the kids pick out what stood out to them. With my youngest, my 2nd grader, he would just draw a picture of what stood out, and it would always be animal related, that an animal that they talked about in that specific section is what he would draw. And my daughter, I'd have her pick out 3 to 5 points that really stood out to her, and she would notebook about those. So there's memory joggers here that I really love. So it walks you through those in the back, so that's question answer format. And we would talk about that and the kids would answer the questions just to gauge how much they understood what we read. And that has been really good. We really enjoyed it. We learned a ton, and they're still talking about the things that they've learned just in regular conversation, or something comes up. They'll mention something that they learned in this geography course. So that says a lot. They were engaged. It is a writing style that's very engaging, kind of brings you in. It's like storytelling. So we really like that. We did so this is level 2, I think. Well, I don't know. Yeah, volume 2. So we did volume 1 last year, actually, with my 5th grader, or my 4th grader last year. So we did this as a family. The volume 1 I just did with her is kind of like a science course, because it's more sciencey than I think it is geographical, but we really enjoyed that, and so we decided to keep going with the series. So this has been good. There's prayer in here, there's poetry, a lot of different things, and recipes. We've done some of the recipes in here. So this has been just a really enjoyable course. Highly recommend it if you want to go a little deeper into the Holy Land and you know, talk about those countries with your kiddos. So these were really good. We enjoyed these a lot. So another thing, foundational truths, catechism, modern catechism, answering the essential questions of Christianity from Israel Wayne. We are still going through this. This is going to bring us into the following year. But again, we just do this once a week. We just talk about the question, read through the scripture that it points out in the Bible, and we do the prayer, talk about the vocabulary. So this has just been just a nice resource, really easy to add in. It's not like really difficult to bring into our morning time. So this has been good, and we'll continue to use it till it's done. Some things. We didn't finish the living art lessons from Master Books. Again, mentioned this in our upcoming family subject picks for the upcoming year. We will be continuing this. Enjoy it. You know, it's really kind of taking you through lines and shapes and all of that. So a real good basic understanding of art. And we've enjoyed it, what we do. The kids get excited when they know that we'll be doing something from this, which we usually do on Fridays. Sometimes it gets put on the wayside depending on what else we have on our plate. But it's just real easy to implement. The things that they ask, like the supplies and stuff, aren't hard to get. So I haven't had any issue kind of, you know, having us do some of these. Some art curriculums, man, they get really detailed. I like simplicity in art because I feel like a good foundation in art, and then you can take it and explore in so many different ways. So I really enjoy this, and we'll continue on with it next year. So for our first semester, we actually did some unit studies. So we worked on the body. This is a resource I use from Teacher Created Resources, and we made a life-size body, which I still have hung on the wall, so I'll show a clip of what those look like. But there's different ways that you can use this resource, and it kind of walks you through different ways that you can, because you don't have to use every single thing in here. You can figure out exactly how you want to build upon. So this was really helpful resource. The kids loved this unit. We used God's Wondrous Machine as a resource. So this went into the nervous system, respiratory system, and circulatory system. This is a resource from Master Books. I like this because it was written by a doctor. And it's just really interesting information in here, and some funny stuff. You know, they had like gross bits and different things that the kids always enjoy. So we didn't use this as is. I actually pulled in some other resources from various places, one of them being Easy Peasy Homeschool, the biology resources on there. So that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with the science course. I really wanted just to do another, you know, brush over the body and how the body works and all of that. And so I think we succeeded with that. And the first unit study we did was on Titanic. So these are some of the resources I used. Voices of Titanic, a Titanic book for kids. 182 and a half amazing answers to your questions about the Titanic. This is a resource we pulled from. We have Titanic, One Newspaper, 7 Days, and the Truth That Shocked the World. So these are just clips of all the newspaper articles that were written during the time that Titanic had went down, and they were trying to figure out what was going on. We have the DK Eyewitness book for Titanic. These eyewitness books are always awesome. So this was my spine that I used when I created the unit study. We have Exploring the Titanic, How the Greatest Ship Ever Lost and Was Found. So this touches on when they found it. So it's got some of the original pictures. And I also have a playlist, I think, on my channel that I have put public of just some of the videos we used. I'll have to see if it is. I don't remember. But I can link that below if you are looking to do something. But this is some of the lap book resources that we used that I found online, and just some coloring pages and different things. There's just an abundance of free resources online for the Titanic, so use those, you know. And it made for a really nice unit study. We really enjoyed it, and we learned a lot. The kids really had a lot of fun. We watched videos, made messages in Morse code. So many fun things that we did with that. We had a ticket to Titanic, and at the end we got to see if our person survived or if they passed away. And all of this we kind of notebooked through. So I can give you a look into what those kind of turned out to be. So this is just a 3-subject notebook, and we like to notebook through a lot of our subjects. So and this particular one is the Titanic unit study, the geography, so the Holy Land unit study, and the science. And if we do like worksheets or whatever, I'll have them just put it in here as well, just to kind of keep it all together. So here's some examples of my second grader drawing pictures from the geography study that we did. We did some labeling of the body systems. So this was a free resource from the Homeschool Compass. So if I remember, I can link that below as well. That's been really good. We did some timeline work in here. I want to show everything they do in here, but there is map work in here. Here's a little bit on what we did for the Titanic. So this was like a timeline that they put in there. Some coloring pages, Morse code. So we got to print that out, and then the message of what he decided his message was going to be is on there as well. There's little lift the flaps that came with that lap book that we found online. A lot of this I had to kind of write for him. But it was just so fun. We had so much fun pulling those resources together. And Titanic was something in the beginning of the year that they were really interested in. So I wanted to capitalize on that and learn some things about it. So that was a lot of fun. Some of the health resources. We finished this book early on. This is something we hadn't finished the previous year, so we took it over. This is Crafted by God, From Fertilization to Birth. Just really good. Talks about how babies form in the belly and God's plan and all of that. Just real beautiful book. So we finished that, and then just recently, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago, we read from the God's Design for Sex series, Before I Was Born. So this is, I think, the second. I feel like there's a first one. Yeah, this is book 2 out of 4 books. So they have the story of me before I was born, what's the big deal, and facing the facts. So these 2 here are for your middle school, high school kiddos. So I mentioned quickly in my rising 6th graders curriculum pick video that the ages on here I feel are for more the upper, just for the topics involved. I mean, some of this, of course, the smaller kids will probably know about, body parts, things like that. But for, where it actually talks about how men and women were made for the purpose of that sort of thing, the actual act of it and what that means. But it's said in a really easily, it's just a real easy way to understand. It's not like super technical. It's not like super uncomfortable. I mean, there was some giggling, but it got the point across, which I think is just kind of important in this day and age, because kids just have access to so much. So I really just wanted a simple conversation to be had that would spring forth any kind of questions that maybe the kids did have, which actually was really helpful, and I'm glad we had the conversation. And honestly, they hear it and it was kind of like, okay, and then they move on. So it wasn't uncomfortable and it was good. The second or the third book I will be reading with my rising 6th grader. But this is a good series if you're interested in finding resources like that to talk about God's design for sex and do it from a Christian perspective, obviously. I come from a time where, like, my mom just kind of threw a book at me, a secular book, and that was like the thing. Like, we really didn't talk about it. I think I probably learned more from my friends at school than I did anywhere else. So I get how things can go down, and I really just wanted to have that conversation with my kids first, sit them down, because I knew when I was a kid, I had questions but didn't know how to express that. So I want to make sure that door's open and, have that communication with my children. So this was a good way to kind of open that door. So now reading. We read some books here. The Railway Children was a favorite. The kids loved this, from E. Nesbitt. Just such a sweet story. I had never read this, and we really enjoyed it. Hero over here. There was some topics in here we didn't expect, but just a real quick read. This was really fast. We read in the early part of the year, and this was good. Mary Jones and Her Bible, I mentioned before. We really enjoyed this. Just a really sweet, wholesome story. The Family Under the Bridge, we read over the holidays. There's a lot of lying in this book. So that's conversations we obviously had to have during the reading. The kids kept saying, well, why does he always have to tell stories like that, So, yeah, that was good conversation. Sweet story in the end, that was a good one. The Giant Killer is another one that we really enjoyed. I'd say it was a favorite from the year. Just a really good book, kind of like an allegory speaking to our sinful natures, and they brought it in a way where there's kind of like some fantasy, and then it really is applying to this family, and it was just really good. The kids enjoyed this story. Recommend that one. Firefly Hollow is another book that we read. The kids really enjoyed. My son, who loves animals, just had really long narrations about this story. The chapters are short. Just a sweet kind of story about these creatures that come together and develop this kind of friendship amongst them, as well as with a human. And in this book, they call the humans giants. and they come from their own little groups and decide that there's something bigger out in the world for them and they want to explore it, and that's how their friendship kind of comes to fruition. Just a super sweet story, and the kids really enjoyed it. There are a few pictures within. So we have a river vole, a firefly, and a cricket in this story. It's very cute. Something we finished finally is Money Matters for Kids. This is something we started the previous year, but we only bring it in once a week, and there was some weeks there that we put it aside just for the other things we were doing in our morning time. So we finally finished it. Just a good overall understanding of money. Basically, it's earn it, give it, spend it, save it, how to do that. This is from a Christian perspective as well. How God wants you to be a good steward of the money that you have and how to do that. And it was just really, really good. They have updated versions. So there's one obviously for kids. There's one for teens as well. So I'm hoping, you know, down the road that the kids could work through the teen one. I really like how this was written out. But yeah, we enjoyed this and it was good. Some books we are currently reading is The Trumpet of the Swan, which the kids are really enjoying. And Life is an Adventure. So this is about Robert Murray M'Cheyne. We just kind of started this. This is a good one too. So these will be finishing up here. And well, probably just before we move into our actual summer. So we're going to be ending a few weeks into June. And then we're just going to be kind of moving into our summer school. So what that's going to entail, I think, is mostly language and math. We're just going to focus on those things. I haven't figured out. I think we're probably just going to do 3 days a week. We may start our Burgess Bird book and that nature study that we were planning, and just get some books from the library. I think I'm going to simplify it even more. We were kind of going to do like a notebook through it and all of this, but I think we're just going to read about these birds, listen to the bird sounds, and look through some picture books. There's a nice list of picture books on the resource that I'll be using for that. So I think we're just going to do it that way and take some nature walks and see what we can find, instead of like the painting and the drawing and the notebooking. I think just keeping it super simple and starting that throughout our summer will be nice, and something that I think will be a little easier because we'll see more birds during this time. So that's kind of like what my summer plans are coming in to the warmer months. Okay, now I'm just going to jump into kind of some things that my 5th grader did. She is still working through a reading log. So we were kind of having her log everything, and she's reading so much like outside of school. I'm not requiring that. I'm probably going to print her out something a little more simplified next year. She hasn't finished this one, so I could show you a page. So this is... It's got like what kind of book it is, the title, the author, date started and finished, how I got it, was it easy to read, what did I learn about it, favorite quotes. Like, it's a little more detailed, what I liked, what really surprised me, favorite character, all of that. And I feel like I just want to simplify it for her next year. I'm going to print her out just a reading log that just allows her to kind of summarize what it is that she read and point out to me what stood out to her, what was her favorite thing, maybe what she disliked, and not have it be so compartmentalized and detailed like this. So we really enjoyed this, though. I love reading logs. I think they're just helpful in breaking down a book for a child. We're just going to simplify it a bit next year. This is something that she worked on last year and this year, so I think it's time for a change. This is just a random stack, so it might not be in any particular order. She is working through the Nature Reader. This is the 5th book. So this was kind of like her extra science that she's been working through. She's still working through it. I don't know that she's going to finish it this year, and it's not necessary for me to carry it over, but it's been a nice add-in for our homeschool. She's learned a lot from it, and I just have her summarize the questions that they ask at the end of a section. So she goes through and answers those for me, just so I understand that she got the information. For writing, sometimes she does just some creative writing in a notebook, whether it be with a prompt or story dice or just something that comes to her. She'll write that down. We were also working through Creative Writing Made Easy. This is a series. They have a few different options. This is the Introducing Isabel. And this just breaks down the creative writing process and has been really good for her. So she's almost done with it. There are 12 lessons from developing a character, themes and story ideas, a plot setting, show don't tell, writing the beginning, writing the dialogue, writing the middle and the ending, spicing it up, editing, putting it together. So she's at the putting it together part where she will then type it up for me, and then that'll be finished. She's enjoyed it. Kind of really just breaks it down, helping them develop character and descriptive sentences about what's going on in the story. So it's been good. I do recommend this. I haven't tried any of the other options. This is the first one we've tried, but she has enjoyed it. There is a creative element to it. So she's kind of still working. You kind of do it in, there's things falling out of here, but there's like a paper doll, and then you create like their spaces. So she's still kind of working on that element, but that has been really fun, just to kind of bring those characters to life. So she is still working through that, and she may or may not finish it before summer, so that'll be something that I will have her finish just because she's so close to the end during the summer. She is still working through the presidents, so we're using this resource, Meet the Chief, a fun look at the presidents. This is from Master Books. So she kind of, reads about the president, watches a video, takes some notes, and writes those down in this notebook. She has some left, not many. Whoops, not many. So she's almost done with this as well. I'll probably just have her finish this next year. It's real easy to just put into our schedule, and I want just a basic understanding of our presidents, who they were, all of that. So she's still notebooking through that, and that's been good. So for history, she is finishing up America's Story 3. She'll finish this up, I think, in the next couple weeks. So she has a couple, I think they're, yeah, 3 more lessons in this. So she just has been, reading the stories and notebooking through. All of her American history is in this one notebook. So this will be just a really nice keepsake, just of copy work, drawings, mapping, summarizations and narrations of things that she's read, things that stood out to her that she really wanted to remember, are all in this notebook. So this is just going to be a really nice keepsake of all the American history that she learned in the last 3 years. She has gone through all of America's Story, and we love the way Angela Odell, the author, tells the stories. And if you go on the author's website, she has a lot of resources there too. That she has a podcast, a history podcast. She has ideas on books and resources to use alongside that. So I've been resourcing that, and it's just been a really good series. We decided to deviate from it because we were going to move into the World Story series because we want to do more family style. It's just easier for mom, and we're going to see how it goes. I mean, you don't know. Maybe we'll go back to it. But we're trying something different this year, and we'll see how that suits us. But this has definitely been a really good resource for American history, and she's enjoyed it and learned a lot. She did do a timeline, so that has been something that she has enjoyed, and we'll continue using this and keep adding it in our history coming up this year. So this is the resource that we used for that. This is from Master Books as well. It's Wonders of Old, a blank timeline book of world history. So definitely a fun resource, and something physical that you can see how all of these different things that you're learning in history line up, and some things were happening at the same time, and she's realizing that. So this has definitely been good. I love keeping a timeline, and excited for my son to start that this upcoming year as well. So as far as language arts, we started the year with Language Lessons for Living Education 5 and Easy Grammar 5. Worked on those probably to 3/4 of the way through the year. And she was realizing that language lessons just wasn't clicking the way she had wanted it to. Now this girl, she's very traditional. She's a visual learner and just likes things simply laid out to her. So she has started with the ACEs. So that is something that she's working on currently. She's working through the gap ACEs. When she took the test, the diagnostic test online, there were some gaps from what we've previously used. So she's working through those, and just will continue on. She likes it just because it is workbook style. Just lays out the information, gives it to her, she works it out. That works for her. I don't think it works for every kid, but it really does work for her. So the style of language lessons, after doing it for 4.5 years, right? Because we were on the 5th book. She did it from the 1st book. And there were some, times where we were like, oh, maybe we should change, but it's just been really difficult, I think, to find a resource that just really felt good to her. So we ended up just kind of sticking through and bringing in some supplements and things like that. But for her, I think she just needed a different type of resource. Easy Grammar was good too. That's another kind of traditional style. And I think it was just getting kind of blah after a while. It is black and white. It's just kind of, working on the same topics, mastery based, which this is mastery based as well, but it's in color, and I think it just appeals to her a little bit more. We'll see. I don't know how long this will work for her, but we're trying it out now. We're working through it. So that's what she's doing with that. So that is kind of like grammar, some writing, very little writing. So we were working on the creative writing that I showed you. She is currently doing Little House in the Big Woods. This is a study guide, so she's going to finish that out soon. She's almost done with that. I don't have a ton of books. They're all spread all over the house. She's read a lot of the assigned reading, which I think I can link her original curriculum plan. I can link that. I haven't rewatched those. Sometimes I like to rewatch those before I do this video, because I know there's a lot of things we didn't do or did, we brought in. I didn't watch them, but most of those books that I wanted her to read, she did. So this is kind of her one crazy summer. She's working through this and really enjoying it. She says she likes this book a lot. So for keyboarding, she's been enjoying the writing skills. So this is just a keyboarding workbook. And for a few years before this, we were doing just, was it typing.com? But then she just needed something where she can kind of put it up and type it out and practice on the things she wants to practice over and over. This has been really good, and something I'll move my son into, but I'm going to start him off on the typing.com. I think that's just a real gentle way of getting the kids started on the computer. So he'll be starting that this upcoming year. She's still working through her Saxon. That is something she's going to be doing through the summer. But I talked about Saxon in her Rising 6th grade curriculum video, so I'm not going to bore you with that information again. It's worked so well for us this year. So I'm glad we moved her into that. So this was the first year that we worked on that. For spelling, she's working on Spelling Skills 4. This is just the one I started her on. I'll be moving her up to the book 6 come next year, but she's just working on it till the end of the year. She will not finish this book. I'm not carrying it over. She'll jump into the book 6 this upcoming year. So she's just going to work on this probably a couple more weeks, and then we'll put it down just to get that extra practice. And we go through the list on that first day, whatever words they don't understand. We use as a vocabulary component as well, and they'll go into their vocabulary notebook that they both have and look it up in the dictionary and kind of draw a picture, write the definition of any words that maybe they don't understand what those meanings are. So that's kind of how we do that. Pen time is the handwriting they've been using. She's used it since might be the second book, first or second book, and it's good. So she's been doing cursive the last couple years, and just, it's real easy. It's simple. They can do this independently, and yeah, I don't need much more from handwriting. That's been good for us. This vocabulary workbook she is working on. I don't think she's going to finish it. Depending on what she gets done by, our kind of cutoff date is when we'll put it down. This will be, we'll put it down. We've got some other vocabulary resources we'll bring back in this upcoming year. But this is so real easy vocabulary workbook. There's trivia, different things in here. Real simple, just to get a little more exposure to different words and how they're used. I think for her, that's basically it. We are pretty eclectic. We do use a lot of different resources. We are a Christian family, so I do like to pull in resources that are Christian-based. But that was pretty much what we used for her. I'll go ahead and show you some things that we used for my second grader. Okay, for my second grader this year, for his language, we were using language lessons for living education too. I was pulling it out and putting it in a notebook just because it was easier for him to write. And while, I feel like kids generally enjoyed it, I think because of the experience I had with my older child, I wanted to, try a different option with him. So we went, again, probably 3/4 of the way through with this, put it down, and I'm trying rod and staff with him. This is something we're currently working on, and I like it. I like it because I can do it orally. I can have him do some of the exercises. The exercises are short. It's generally like 4 or 5 questions. I can pick which one I want him to write in his notebook, and we can do the other one orally, which just is a really good fit for him. I read through the lesson. I have a teacher book, so I can use that, and then he can use this, and he can follow along. And when he's prompted, he reads from it, and it just keeps him engaged. And it's mastery based, so we're repeating a lot of the things. So he's catching on, he's getting it, and there's lots of review as well. So I really like it so far. And we're going to just continue using it and continue it through this upcoming year. I do have the 3rd book. Whenever we get to that, we'll just roll right into it. For reading, we tried some different things. He was reading readers, so I have tons of like easy readers and like level 2, level 3 books that he's been reading. He prefers nonfiction, so he'll read like the encyclopedia. He'll read any like animal books that we have with facts and stuff, and he's got a ton in his room, so he reads a lot. He reads a lot of that. I'm trying to expand him on the things he wants to read, or the things that are available, I should say. But he, for like elocution and different things, he does read the McGuffies to me. He's in the 2nd reader currently, so we're just going to keep moving through these. These just are helpful. Plus there's poetry, there's sweet stories. So he just reads this to me every day. We did take a pause from that and try these easy peasy readers. This is the 1st reader. This is the one I just had. My daughter did some easy peasy, I think her 1st grade year. And so there's just a lot of different stories. He was reading through the Jolly Robin, but he got kind of bored of it. And so we put it back down. But that was just me trying to try something different. But like I said, he does pull books off the shelf of what we have. Usually animal-based, fact-based. But he enjoys that, so that's what he does on his own. And I just try to bring in different resources when we're working one-on-one together. He was reading through the handbook for reading. This is just for practice of that phonics, practice all those rules. So we're still kind of working through that. Same with spelling. We started him on this. He was doing the spelling from language lessons. And he just needed a little more work and a little more breaking down, like phonetically, the words. This is more of a phonetic base. And so whatever the rule is, he highlights it. And we go through the words that way. This has been helping. He's doing really well, and he's remembering how to spell the words. He's writing more, so I think whatever we're doing, it's helping, because he's kind of my reluctant writer, and he's writing more. So that's what I want to see. So he's doing that. He is working on Pen Time 2, which is the transition book to cursive. Whenever we do get to the cursive, I probably will have to find another resource for print, because I don't want him to lose what he's got for print. I mean, he still needs to work with print, but I also think it's important for the kids to know the cursive, so we'll be doing that. Now for math, he's doing math lessons for living education. We're pausing this. We're kind of almost to the review section anyways, and I'm having him practice math facts with the Liberty Math. The Liberty Math resources. So this is just their drill book, level A drill book. It's just drill. It's just drill. So he does a page of this every morning independently, and that's just practice. And then we have the Liberty Mathematics level B, and we're working through this. And this pretty early on starts with multiplication and division. So in his math lessons, we haven't touched on that. So we're going to work through this, and then I'll bring in another resource. Now, it might be what I mentioned in our rising third graders curriculum pick video. Might be the MCP math. I have the teacher guides for the MCP series. So it might be that. Or I might just like tailor it in with some workbooks to take him through third grade year to learn what he needs to learn for third grade math, and do extra practice. So that could be a possibility. So I don't know. We're gonna see how this goes. I just want him to have just a solid foundation, number sense, and math facts to take him in to Saxon math, because I really like the Saxon method and the dive into math videos that go along with that, and I think that'll be a helpful resource for him. So that's just kind of what I'm working through. It's like no specific there's a plan, but this could take us somewhere else. So we're just focusing on the things that I know that he needs just extra practice and work with. We'll also be here, let me show you. We'll also, through the summer, just be practicing money. So this is quick picks, not just a money game. Quick to learn, quick to play, be quick to win. This is just like a card money game. And we have some money dice. This is a set of 10. So you've got your 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents, 25, 50, and $1. So this will just be extra practice. This will be throughout the summer. I'll include my daughter with this just for, keeping things quick, and he needs a little more practice with money. So that is something we'll be doing through the summer. Just a lot of practice, building the skills upon the skills that we already have, and getting quicker with it. I like my kids to kind of pull away from the finger counting and all of that. So that's kind of what I'm working towards with him, just getting quicker with the math facts and all of that. He also was working on a nature reader. This is book 2. And he would just draw a picture. So he enjoys doing this. Will we finish it? probably not. Will we do some next year? I don't know, but we'll have it. But I'm not required. It's not like required. I don't feel like we need to finish the book. We learned a lot from it. So we'll probably do a couple more lessons from this throughout the end of our year and put it down for a bit. I did not buy the next level for him, so we'll see. We'll see what we need to do. For writing, he does some creative writing in here. So again, we like to do story prompts or story dice, and just come up. He likes to draw the picture. He always draws his picture first, and then he tells me the story. We're still kind of at the place of like, he tells me the story, I write it down, and he copies it himself. So that's what we're working towards, him having more confidence in writing the story on his own. When it comes to creative writing, when the kids are young, I always start kind of with a notebook format. And I don't check grammar and spelling and all of that. I let it be more of a free writing thing, just to get comfortable in writing and telling a story. So we're going to move more into that the more comfortable he gets. My daughter was a lot more comfortable with writing, so she would do the free writing, and while, you know, maybe the spelling was wrong or the grammar was wrong, that didn't matter. It was her getting the pencil to the paper and writing things down, and she was always more eager to do that, where he's more reluctant. So we're doing it a little differently with him, but it's working, and he enjoys it. He enjoys, I think most kids, if they have the freedom to do so, they'll enjoy kind of telling their own stories. You know, they can be silly, they could be weird, whatever, you know. Just getting those creative juices going is kind of what's important to me. Grammar, it's just a lot of different, and this is just really, I'm using, I'm sorry, not grammar, phonics. We're using these different resources because it's really helpful for his spelling, so, and writing. I think he's more of like, oh, I don't know how to spell that, or I don't know. So he doesn't want to try to write it. So phonics for me, well, yes, of course, it's great for reading. He's reading really well, and we're getting, you know, we're getting a lot of that in the McGuffies that we're doing and other ways. So this is really just helpful in the spelling. So I don't care about the levels. It's just practice. Just to understand how words are formed and how to write them. So I have these. We're just going to work through them. And what I'll do next, I'm not really sure. But they have been good resources for us. I like a lot of the Christian Liberty Press resources. They're super inexpensive. They are to the point. They get the job done. And I like that. He doesn't mind doing it. He can do it on his own. And of course, all kids love the Explode the Code. So we use these. You know, I can alternate to keep things fresh. So we'll just continue working through these just to kind of help him out a little bit with that confidence. And I'm sure there's things maybe I didn't mention. Maybe things that were in his second grade curriculum video. I know there's a ton of stuff that was in there that we didn't use because I changed kind of our science plans and we did more family style. So some of that did change. And if there's something in those videos that I said I was going to do, or maybe something along the lines I said I did and I didn't mention here, let me know if you're curious about something that I didn't say or talk about. But that is pretty much our end of year recap. Those are the resources we used. I'm not going to really go into the ones we didn't use. I mean, there is some stuff here that I see that we didn't even really pick up, or we picked up and it just didn't work out. Just because they were probably extras. This was kind of the main stuff, all the main stuff that we got through. And it was a good year. Both of the kids grew a lot. I think as homeschool moms, that is what we want. We want our kids to grow. We want our kids to, it's not about numbers on a book. It's not about levels. It's not about grades. Every kid is different. And both of my kids are very different from each other. So their learning styles are different. So keep that in mind, Mama. Don't feel bad if you had to move around a bit. I had to do a ton of that this year. It's just kind of the name of the game when you're figuring things out, what's best for your kids. But that was our year. I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed that. I am going to sign off now, and if you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. God bless.